all in all, my name's John Thomas Patrick Horan, but I do have people who call me Sean, the Irish version of John sometimes. And Horan is a name that originates from the west of Ireland, the Connaught region, Mayo and Galway, where my father's parents are from. I was born on the 24th of April 1955. I was born in a part of Dublin in Ireland called Finglas. My mother and father moved there. They met in Dublin, and then they married in Dublin. And my father was from Tuam in Galway, and my mother was from a place called Castle Blaney in Monaghan, which is up North Ireland, north part of Ireland. It was what they call a corporation house, and it was the garden was very long, and I remember that there was a bomb crater at the end of it, believe it or not, that during the war, the Germans, when they didn't put all their bombs on England, would turn around and drop the bombs on Dublin, and it was like a warning to stay out of war. This is what could happen. So there was a bomb crater at the end of the garden, and there was a small stream that ran through the garden as well. My mother and father lived next door in Dublin, in that house, to my mum's sister, my Auntie Bridie, so there wasn't a fence, so it was a double garden. We shared the garden, so there was a lot of children running around. We didn't see much of my father because at the time in the late 50s there was a lot of unemployment in Ireland. Ireland was a new country, so to speak, and was finding its way, and there wasn't a lot of work, so a lot of people had to emigrate, or they worked in England and sent money over. So my father worked in England and came over occasionally. My family were all 3 years apart, so that sort of shows how often he used to come back. I had a cousin, Roger, who was just a couple of months older than me, so we were like brothers, and my Auntie Bridie would be in the house all the time anyway, and my Uncle Roger, their father, and so Roger would be there as well. There was a young girl, Sinead, who we used to play with, but remember we, myself and Roger, were publicly spanked in the middle of the street for what we did with Sinead. And all we did, we put her in a dustbin, put her head first in the bin and put the lid on it, and we were punished for that. I had an older sister, Patricia, and she used to play with my cousins next door, Deirdre and June. And June Bolger, who married and became June Considine, she's written books, and she wrote about the 2000th anniversary of Dublin, and her childhood, and how her, Patricia and Deirdre, used to push a pram across a pipeline and have races with me and Roger as babies in the pram. They'd be racing across this river, the pipe, and racing across to see who could do it the fastest. So it was quite a dangerous time. My mother and father said that we were going on holiday to England. So we went. When we went on holiday, my cousin Roger said, "The last thing I saw of you, we were playing together, and I just saw you waving goodbye in a taxi." And that was it. We'd come over to England, but my mother couldn't tell us we were leaving because we wouldn't go. well, we would have to go because we were just small children, but we'd be so upset. But it was great when we were told we were going to England, because we we're going to go and see where my dad was, and that was it. So we were going on a big holiday to England. I've been on holiday ever since, since 1959. Like I say, I was playing out, and we got in a taxi, and Roger said, "Oh, you're going now, and I said, "Yeah, right, we're going, goodbye, see you soon." But then one thing I remember was my Auntie Bridie crying, constantly crying, and I was asking my mother, "Why is Auntie Bridie crying? Why is she crying? Why is she upset? We're only going on holiday." She was very upset. So that I do remember just waving and not realising it was so major. But I mean, I was 4 years old then, and it was I really enjoyed the trip. The journey. It was fantastic. Going on a boat for the first time. I remember my father lifting me up, and I just saw the sea below me, the side of the boat. But he was sort of saying, "Look, say goodbye to Ireland," at the time. Of course, I didn't realise that, but that was it. We were gone, and we'd only just go back occasionally on holiday. We stayed at Berry Park in Luton, at my Uncle Frank's, which was Berry Park was a very Irish area, and historically it's an immigrant area because it was cheap housing, and that's where people went at the time, where cheaper housing was. We were walking towards my Uncle Frank's with all our suitcases, and my mother and father talking, and there was a group of people started shouting at us, and I thought, oh, that they must be welcoming us, but of course they weren't. My sister, who was 3 years older than me, Patricia, she says they were saying, "Irish, you go home at the time." But so there was hostility. That was the first time I'd sort of, obviously the first time I'd realised, but there were signs up in the houses saying, no Irish, no blacks, no dogs. That was the thing. For if you wanted to rent somewhere, you couldn't. They wouldn't take you. When we moved to Sutton Park after about 3 weeks at my Uncle Frank's, I started making friends. But one of the friends was an English boy across the street, and I remember we were playing in the garage and something, and he fell over, and for some reason he tripped over and bruised his knee. And then his mother came out and started shouting at me and telling me to go and not come back. And I didn't know what that was about, and I saw my mum, and I told her what happened. She says it's because we're Irish. So there was that. There was that. So then I learned that not everybody liked the Irish. But across the street there was Scottish people who just moved down from Glasgow, and I made friends with them, Scottish children, and they had the same sort of experiences as well. Luton is an area for immigration. There'd be lots of Irish children, Scottish children and English children, who would all be mixing. And I used to think that Luton was Luton is a friendly place. I mean, I've actually said there that problems, well, the Irish-English thing, but it wasn't like that all the time. There were just some people, but it was a lovely place to grow up.